adage says, it takes a village to raise a child. Here in New York City and at Robin Hood, we would tell you, it takes a community to ensure students excel in school and gain the tools they need to thrive in life. Among the nearly 1 million students who attend New York City public schools, more than 2/3 are considered economically disadvantaged. These students, a majority of them Black or Latine, face lifelong setbacks simply because of their starting point in life. Our grant making here at Robin Hood is designed to help New Yorkers of all ages meet mobility milestones, which are life events that, according to the evidence, can drastically affect an individual's economic position over time. The research says that if school-age children successfully complete kindergarten by age 5, are proficient on their 3rd and 8th grade standardized tests, and graduate high school by age 19, their chances of achieving economic mobility greatly increase. Community schools integrate academics, health, and mental health services, expanded learning opportunities, and family support to improve student success. They are effective at helping students reach these milestones, and importantly, they are a proven pathway out of poverty. I'm Crystal Cooper, Deputy Director of Communications here at Robin Hood. On today's podcast, we will explore the community schools ecosystem here in New York City. For decades, New York City has been a national leader in developing and implementing high-quality community schools. And today, Robin Hood CEO Richard Buery Jr. joins Schools Chancellor David Banks at PS 268 in East Flatbush, Brooklyn, to announce the launch of 20 new next-generation community schools in the 2023 to 24 school year. They are supported by a $5.5 million investment from Robin Hood. We're joined by returning podcast guest Chris Caruso, Managing Director of Robin Hood's School-Age Children Portfolio. Welcome back to the podcast, Chris.
Thanks, Crystal. It's great to be here, especially talking about community schools.
Chris, you joined Robin Hood after nearly 6 years at New York City Public Schools, where you held senior positions at the Office of Community Schools. This topic is really your bread and butter. To get us started, can you give us a brief explainer on what a community school is?
Sure, Crystal. This is a topic near and dear to my heart, one that I'm really passionate about. You know, my first job out of graduate school a couple decades ago was at a community school in Washington Heights, where I served as a community coordinator, overseeing after-school programs and parent engagement work. And I saw firsthand early in my career the real power that these partnerships and that these schools can have in bringing families into schools, creating safe spaces for young people, and really propelling them on the pathway to success. I was really proud to work with our now CEO and former Deputy Mayor, Rich Buery, in the de Blasio administration, to take this idea that's been around for over a century, in fact. You know, you think back to the role that settlement houses played in schools at the turn of the 20th century. This is not a new idea, but what is new is that there is a public investment and expectation that this is how schools should be run. Schools, principals, and teachers cannot do this alone. We need partnerships, we need buy-in, and we need collaboration with the community in order to create opportunities for young people.
So when you talk about these opportunities, let's consider the fact that Robin Hood is specifically aiming to help children in poverty. What do they need? Yeah. What is the scope of need for the population we're serving, and what do we provide?
Yeah. So in New York, our community schools partner a public school with a local nonprofit organization. And together, they work with families to provide a set of services to make sure students are ready to learn. Healthcare, vision screening, dental care, right? Making sure that kids are physically healthy and ready to learn, right? We also talk a lot about shared leadership and really empowering families to participate in the actions of education. So informing the school leadership around curriculum, reviewing data with them, contributing to the development of the curriculum. We really want families to play a meaningful role, and community schools are designed to build trust so that families feel welcome and able to do that work. We also need a strong instructional core. And I think this is what's exciting about today's announcement, is that we're really doubling down on the role that the community can play on strengthening the instructional core of our schools by creating more learning opportunities after school, before school, during the summer, so that kids have the opportunities that they deserve. We think about affluent families in New York City and the amount of resources that they invest in their children's education. I'm not just talking about paying for private school. I'm talking about the sports activities, the piano lessons, the camps, all these other experiences. We need to really level the playing field in making sure that our students from low-income families have those same types of opportunities.
Absolutely. It's about treating the student as a whole human, right?
Exactly.
Not just a test taker, not just a butt in a seat, but someone who needs support and care poured into them in order to thrive in the classroom. So let's talk about today's announcement. We are announcing 20 new next generation community schools. What does that mean? What is a next generation community school, and how is it building on the evidence of the former model?
I think what's really exciting is that for decades, there was consensus that community schools were a good idea, right? It just makes sense. No one's going to argue that giving a child glasses is not a good investment. But what there wasn't was an evidence base on the efficacy of this strategy to really promote student achievement. And in the last 5 years, that evidence base has really solidified in New York and around the country. And so in 2020, the RAND Corporation released a large, extensive, multi-year evaluation that found that community schools have a significant impact on improving graduation rates, on having students advance from one grade to the next, on improving attendance rates and decreasing chronic absenteeism, and some indications that they can make a difference in improving math and reading comprehension.
That's big.
It is big. It's huge, in fact. And what's striking about that is that the results were even stronger for Black and Latinx students and students in poverty, right? So this was an intervention, a strategy targeted for a specific community that's really showing increased benefits for that community.
And was it then, at the time that these findings came out, that we embarked upon this next generation pilot?
It was. I think that a lot of people took notice. The Brookings Institution convened a national panel comprised of experts. Rich was on that, was a part of that task force. And they published a report to talk about the opportunities that exist to promote teaching and learning in community schools. And that's when Robin Hood began to take notice. I got here a little over 2 years ago. We started in conversations with the New York City Public Schools, the community schools office there. And we came up with this plan to have some specific academic interventions in a set of new community schools to test the pilot, to test the hypothesis, to really explore whether targeted academic interventions and leadership development of principals could drive those results in math and reading even further.
You kind of already answered this, but are there specific indicators that you will be measuring through this pilot? What do we hope to achieve, and how are we going to know that we're successful?
Yeah, we definitely are looking at student outcomes, right? Robin Hood is known to follow the evidence, right? We want to make sure that we have a strong return on our investment, and we're really in this to make impact. So our expectation is that, one, these community schools will have changed practices. So they will be implementing curricular programs with fidelity especially around early grade math. We're really excited for that. We expect to see change in teacher practice that we'll know through observations and surveys. And at the end of the day, we expect to see more young people proficient in math and reading, right? That is the ticket to make sure that kids are getting ready for middle school and high school so that they're graduating a New York City public school, ready for college, ready for career, so that they can benefit from the dignity of a job in the future that provides them with a family-sustaining wage.
Well, congratulations, Chris, on making it to today. It sounds like we're taking this initiative a big step forward. It's not just about making sure that kids are staying awake in class, that they're fed, but really that they're hitting their mobility milestones and are ready for college and career. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you, Crystal.
And thank you to the listeners who've joined us for another Robin Hood moment. To learn more about community schools, our education investments, and stories of impact, please visit our website at robinhood.org. We'll see you again next time.